Soon after graduation, Tom Saunders came up with a new idea. Rather than selling his painting, Tom sells the right of buying his future work. Under the emergent artist derivative contract, an art collector pays £2,000 now for the right to buy the work of his in 10-year time at a nominal price of £1.
I suggested this to the gallery, and they helped me find a lawyer who'd be willing to work pro bono to write the contract. And they also managed to get the Times to write an article about it. And from there, it was featured in several other newspapers and was eventually purchased by two collectors. So there are two of these emerging artist derivative contracts in private hands now. So sometimes I'll leave it looking a bit like a face.
In financial markets, it is called the option contract, which is frequently being used on trading commodities, stocks, and bonds. But in art markets, Tom is the only one who ever sold such a contract.
In this piece, instead of making work at a stage where I wasn't ready to make interesting work, but I still had belief in my own future as an artist, I offered instead a contract that stipulated that for the price of the work of an immature artist, in 10 years' time, one could acquire a fully developed artwork. At the end of this period, the private collector in question was offered a portfolio of current works that were verified by a series of art world specialists and experts. And early signs of the new normal was the work that was chosen. The components of the work are a foldable dog cage, a high-definition screen, a Raspberry Pi computer, various cables, and some charcoal briquettes. The first step is to take out the folding dog cage. The dog cage assembles by taking out the central pieces which form the walls, allowing it to stand up. A key point here is that the dog cage in this piece is used upside down, and one can tell its orientation by the text that appears on the door, which should be upside down. The next step is to create the cradle upon which the screen sits. This is made up of green and red bungee cords. There are 6 of them. The idea is to create an alternating pattern of green and red bungee cords. They loop and go around each side twice. So, now what I do is I place the hooks again on alternating sides to create a nice pattern. Once 3 cords are installed, you have to install one on the other end. And now it's time to maneuver the screen into position. It can be maneuvered up onto the bungee cords. These 4 will hold it in place while the final 2 are installed. So the bungee cords are in place and the screen is now held there effectively. The next stage is to create the bed for the Raspberry Pi computer. Here we have 2 bags of PVA coated charcoal briquettes. Arguably they symbolize the carbon from which everything is made. Really, this can be heaped in quite a haphazard fashion. There's no particular look we're going for. We're just trying to create a nice organic heap. Next, we present the Raspberry Pi computer. Here it is, small but capable of many things. This is placed on top of the pile, like so. And now we wait for the computer to turn on, which should only take around 15 seconds. On the desktop, there is a single file, which is called Launch Video File. This executes a series of terminal commands to trigger a video which will loop infinitely. And that is the artwork complete.